And another thing that I thought too, it wasn't just, oh, I did wrestling for this particular company for 4 years, write a book, but I thought since I was the first one hired for the pilot, I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. Seriously, I had no idea the sport of wrestling because I didn't watch it. I really didn't. And what do you watch in the 70s? I mean, you're watching Wonder Woman
Yeah.
and Batman and Batgirl and those kind of shows growing up. It wasn't like it was a chore because reading it just, I was like, wow, that's my story. And what I did, Francine, is I decided to make it in parts. I started doing a little more due diligence. So I went over to Paris's book and Prince Harry, and I picked them up and I looked and I'm like, cool. They did it in parts, part one. So for me, part one with all the chapters in it will be growing up. Just, I had a very lively childhood.
Mhm.
And then part two would be my audition, and then everything about wrestling and glow. Part
Right.
three would be when that ended, and then what do you do after? Do
Yeah.
and then coming up with the different chapters and what I wanted to call some of them. I guess this book is like it's things that I participated in, suffered from, I don't know, gained from, and certain things that I've achieved. And so I had to have all of that in here. So if you are a fan of Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, or a fan of me, this is a perfect book, I think, to for everybody. And another thing that I thought too, it wasn't just, oh, I did wrestling for this particular company for 4 years, um, write a book, but I thought since I was the first one hired for the pilot, I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. Seriously, I had no idea the sport of wrestling because I didn't watch it. I really didn't. And what do you watch in the 70s? I mean, you're watching Wonder Woman
Yeah.
and Batman and Batgirl and those kind of shows growing up. So I did remember my grandfather watching it, but I didn't know anything about wrestling. And so I thought this is a good story for me to tell because I was there for the pilot. I was there for a season 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I figured I would be the perfect person to talk about this,
Absolutely.
and yeah, absolutely. And it's the truth. When you read it, I don't embellish anything. I'm telling you exactly as it happened. I'm not making up anything. These are my words, my truth, and things that happened to me. So
Sure.
you'll just go, oh my God, I've had some people read it already. They're like, oh, and they'll name something and they slap their hand, over their head.
Oh.
I'm proud of it because I made it classy. I
Mm.
didn't make it trashy.
I love
You
that.
know, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Classy, not
I
trash.
honestly do know what you mean. Yes,
Yeah,
and
and
that
I
book.
could trust me. There are some parts in there. I was careful. Bullying. I'm a huge advocate of bullying, and there are some things that are very hurtful. So you'll read it. I read it, and I'm like, oh, that hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was careful. I had a lawyer look over everything because
Mhm.
just in case there was a word or two that should, when you're
Yep.
writing it, you're like, because you're in it, sometimes you have to step out of the box again and reread it for the first time. And I will say for anybody who's reading, hasn't done this before, as far as errors and everything, have people help, have editors in there, go over. I
Right.
have 4 different people doing it.
Wow, wow.
4. And
Yeah.
I still, there's like 2 commas. I'm like, there shouldn't be 2 commas. How
Right.
did that
Because
happen?
mistakes happen. Yes. And
They
then and
do.
let me just correct you. You're an advocate against bullying.
Bullying,
Yes,
yes.
against it,
Against.
ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Sorry.
No,
Thank
no, no. I want them to know that you are one of the sweetest people I've met. So not a bully, not a bully at
you.
all.
No.
Hey everyone, hope you are enjoying the interview so far. Please tune in on Thursday for part 2.